Love and service. LDS church leaders cheer on the church's welfare program during the 181st Annual General Conference.
Emergency landing, how one plane's broken roof is delaying hundreds of travelers.
And Alzheimer's genes, how a BYU scientist's discovery may help identify who is more at risk for Alzheimer's disease. I'm Andrew Reeser.
And I'm Natalie Tripp. It's Monday, April 4th, and in Utah, it's 12 o'clock.
From KBYU and the BYU Department of Communications. This is the award-winning 11 News at noon.
It's that time of year again.
Members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints heard messages of welfare, service, and love in April's session of General Conference.
11 News reporter Kristen Firmage went to conference and is here to tell us all about it. Kristen, was it packed there this weekend?
Yeah, 21,000 people came to Salt Lake City Conference Center to hear the words of LDS prophets and leaders. There was a lot to take in, but a few themes stood out. This month marks the 75th anniversary of the LDS Church's welfare program. Talks on both Saturday and Sunday reflected this event with themes of loving and serving others by attending to their temporal needs.
Great temporal needs of the children of Heavenly Father have come again in our time.
As long as the church has resources, President Hinckley said to them, we will not let you go hungry.
Speakers brought up service in all capacities, including serving as a missionary and as part of the community.
He has invited his children to consecrate their time, their means, and themselves to join with him in serving others.
President Monson and other speakers also mentioned the blessing of families in the temples they are sealed in.
My brothers and sisters, temples are more than stone and mortar. They're filled with faith.
Happiness that comes with keeping the commandments was a theme that flowed through the entire conference. Commandments like paying tithing, attending church, and the importance of being a good example.
Parents, now is the time to teach your children to be examples of the believers.
Many speakers mentioned the necessity of trials in mortal life.
But we do not need to let our fears displace our faith.
Conference came to a close Sunday with President Monson expressing his love for the saints. People came from all over the world to attend this conference, and tickets are pretty hard to get. I saw people standing outside Saturday and even in the cold weather on Sunday to try to see if there's any extra tickets.
Yeah, it was packed. Thanks, Kristen.
Yeah.
LDS church leaders gave more than just inspirational messages this weekend. They announced new statistics and 3 new temples. 11 News reporter Haley Jankowski went to the conference center to find out about these new developments.
With membership rising to more than 14.1 million and new temples popping up, people on Temple Square this weekend beamed with excitement. Music outside and inside the conference center ushered in the 181st semi-annual General Conference for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The church leaders broadcast their messages across the world, and LDS Church President Thomas S. Monson announced 3 new temples in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, Fort Collins, Colorado, and Meridian, Idaho, on the outskirts of Boise. A newly baptized couple says they're happy they'll have a temple so close.
I was absolutely stunned, very surprised. I couldn't believe it.
Flowers and his wife didn't think twice about what they'll do when the temple is built in Meridian.
Go see it. Go see it.
Sister missionaries serving in Temple Square say they want to find more couples like the Blowers, and they took a new approach last weekend.
But it's been changed the message, and then we can invite the friends and members here, and then they can introduce this gospel to family and friends. That's wonderful.
Megiddo says holding up signs to show people the many different languages that Temple Square missionaries speak helps people see the worldwide reach of the church.
Wherever you live, whatever you speak, the message is the same, so we just want to share to everyone.
You can already watch and listen to the conference talks online, and the text from all sessions goes online Thursday. For more information, you can visit our website at 11news.byu.edu. Back to you.
Conference weekend brings in a lot of traffic for the Salt Lake City Airport, but some people are still stuck in Salt Lake longer than they expected. Southwest Airlines delayed more than 600 flights over the weekend after part of a 737's roof ripped off. The pilot made an emergency landing at 36,000 feet with a controlled nosedive. The plane landed safely and no one was injured. A collapsed roof interrupted grocery shopping for some early birds in Taylorsville this morning. Firefighters evacuated the Reams grocery store after a fire alarm went off. Crews rushed to the scene, but they didn't find the fire. Instead, they found a collapsed roof and in a vacant space next door. Firefighters say they're not sure what caused the 15-foot hole, but they say it's safe for Reams to open for business.
When 11 News at noon returns, running the country, President Obama made a major announcement this morning on his thoughts for the upcoming election.
And violence rages. 2 presidential candidates on the Ivory Coast fight for power, causing chaos in the streets. We'll be right back.
Hope.
Most teenagers settle arguments by arm wrestling or rock, paper, scissors. But that didn't happen Saturday in West Valley when an argument between 2 teen boys ended with a stabbing. The 2 started arguing while walking home from school. Things got heated and the 13-year-old stabbed the 15-year-old. Witnesses notified police, who then picked up the suspect and took him to a detention center. The victim is recovering after serious surgery. A gang member's birthday celebration ended with another trip to jail. Police say they arrested white supremacist Robert King after he shot a stolen gun to celebrate his 30th birthday. And they also found $800 worth of methamphetamines in his car. King's arrest comes after his recent release from federal prison for gang activity.
President Obama announced he's ready for round 2 in the White House, even though he won't face off against a Republican candidate until next spring. Obama says he is already gathering support for the 2012 presidential election. Nicole Collins has more.
The 2012 presidential election begins with this.
Here it is, 2012, the election.
A video posted on BarackObama.com in which President Obama does not appear, and an email from him to his supporters that reads, "As my administration and folks across the country fight to protect the progress we've made and make more, we also need to begin mobilizing for 2012, long before the time comes for me to begin campaigning in earnest." The president wrote that his campaign would file paperwork with the Federal Election Commission today, a crucial step that allows him to begin fundraising. The president's early start on his bid for re-election is a move Democrats hope will allow him to reach the unprecedented fundraising goal of $1 billion. The Republican National Committee issued its own web ad in response to the president's announcement.
We need jobs. We need leadership. Yet you do nothing as we pile up debts we can't afford.
A sentiment echoed by Republicans on Capitol Hill amid an ongoing contentious budget battle.
You see the president really, MIA, and you see him planning his announcement for his re-election bid. It's just kind of like, where are your priorities? And this has to be the nation's #1 priority at this point, because a debt is a national security problem.
No Republicans have officially announced a bid for the White House, but several have made a steady stream of appearances in key early voting states. In Washington, I'm Nicole Collins.
White House officials say Obama's pre-campaign plans include a few additional fundraisers, but for now, the president is just sticking to his day job. If you are unemployed, you could qualify for 13 extra weeks of benefits from the federal government unless you live in Utah. State lawmakers refuse to take government money that would offer extended unemployment benefits to more than 20,000 people. Supporters say Utah is fostering self-sufficiency by not taking the extra cash, while others say those out of a job are losing an important bridge to finding a new one. The two great certainties in life are death and taxes, and for the deadline for one is fast approaching. No, it's not the end of the world, just the deadline for filing your taxes. Tax day is normally April 15th, but this year people get 3 extra days and another weekend until the tax deadline on Monday, April 18th.
The French make a startling discovery in the Atlantic Ocean. Libyan rebels continue their fighting, and the battle over rival presidents on the Ivory Coast turns deadly. This is your look at news from around the world. Nearly 2 years after Flight 447 crashed into the Atlantic Ocean, French officials finally found the bodies of the victims and the main wreckage. The plane disappeared after taking off from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, on its way to Paris. Officials are trying to use the newly found plane pieces to find out why the plane went down. Explosions, ambushes, and firing has Libyan rebels taking some steps back in their fight against Gaddafi's loyal forces. The fighters held V signs for victory with their fingers as they ran away from gunfire. They say they recognize their weapons are not as powerful as the loyalists and say they prefer not to fight until they get better equipment. Violence rages on the Ivory Coast as two presidential candidates fight for power. Several hundred people died in the street violence between self-declared President Laurent Gbagbo and internationally recognized President Alassane Ouattara. France sent 350 troops to help control the violence, but the UN says the situation is extremely dangerous. They plan to relocate 200 UN workers for their safety. And that's your look at news from around the world. Kylie?
Thanks, Andrew. When 11 News at noon returns, Alzheimer research, a BYU professor finds new information to boost solutions on mental illness. Sliding down, how some people are taking advantage of icy hills for freezing adventures.
And Mother Nature is playing a trick on us. I'll let you know if these games will continue on 11 News Weather when we return.
If you know someone who suffers from memory loss, experts say you could be in luck. 11 News reporter Lily Cano talked with one BYU professor who may have found a way to predict and prevent Alzheimer's disease.
A group of university researchers who study Alzheimer's disease discovered 4 new genes that increase the risk of developing this form of dementia. A BYU professor who participated in the study says he's optimistic about the findings.
But one of the challenges with Alzheimer's disease over the years has been that we don't know a lot about the actual disease process.
This research is giving scientists new knowledge they need to test new drugs.
The 4 new genes will hopefully open the door to targeted treatments and ways to predict who will develop Alzheimer's.
Translating the research to direct treatments will take years, but it is still a milestone in medicine.
This is a huge finding, and it's as big a deal as the media is making it, and it really is exciting, but there's a lot of work to be done.
Well, I think it's great that they're making progress on it. As I watch, I mean, it's sad to watch a loved one struggling to remember things.
Family members of those who have Alzheimer's say they hope the research will lead to a solution. In Provo, Lily Cano, 11 News.
BYU professor Coway and his group received a grant to study the genes that contribute to memory loss. They say it will take 5,000 DNA samples to create a chart that will help people determine their risk for Alzheimer's.
From 75 to snowy, conference weekend brought some freak weather, causing problems all over Utah Valley. Some areas got up to 8 inches of snow, but what's great for spring skiers meant trouble for travelers. The snowstorm caused car crashes and pileups all along the Wasatch Front, and fallen power lines left nearly 30,000 Salt Lake City homes left in the dark late Saturday night. Britt, we had such a nice weekend, and now it's really cold. I don't know what happened.
But is it going to get warmer? You know, I have some bad news. It's going to be warm tomorrow, but then it's going to be cold for the rest of the week. You know, when I was driving back from conference last night, it was like a blizzard outside. And outside right now on the mountains, we can see that those beautiful mountains are covered in fresh powder. Like they said, it was great for the skiers, but not for the drivers. And the resorts across the state got up to 1.5 feet of snow. Right now in Provo, it's 40 degrees currently. Pretty warm compared to yesterday, but still not too warm. And tonight, the low is going to be 36 degrees. And that, as that storm moved in, it dropped the temperatures yesterday. We're going up just a little bit today, but we'll see about the rest of the week. That storm came in and brought that snow and is now moving towards the East Coast and is actually bringing tornado warnings to many of the southern and eastern states, so that's definitely something to be aware of. Now the storm for Utah, they're coming in, you can see them right here and down on the coast, just hanging out there till Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So the highs across the state reflect that storm that was here yesterday, a little bit chillier than normal. 49 degrees in Logan, 52 degrees in Nephi, but down in St. George, it's 72 degrees. Absolutely gorgeous weather down there. In southern Utah, it's warm for the beginning of this week. We can see that in the 70s for today and tomorrow, but towards the middle and end of the week, we've got a ton of rain coming in. Rain on Wednesday for sure, possible rain on Thursday, but definitely rain again on Friday. And it's a little bit of the same story in the Wasatch Front. A little bit warmer today. Tomorrow's going to be beautiful in comparison to the rest of the week. We've got rain coming in down on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday also has a possibility of some snow showers. So we're going to be getting that wet weather from that storm that's coming in. So you're definitely going to want to be going outside, enjoying tomorrow's weather because it's just not going to be sticking around.
So it's safe to say the sun will come out tomorrow.
Yes, definitely safe to say, but not the next day.
Oh.
All right, well, thanks, Britt. And we have a championship game tonight.
Well, I don't know if we have a championship game tonight.
You're rubbing salt in an open wound.
Look here, tell us what's going on in the NCAA tourney.
Well, we might not be playing in the championship. NCAA scoring leader and multiple first-team All-American Jimmer Fredette can add another title to his growing list of accomplishments. Last night, the Atlanta Tip-Off Club announced Fredette as the 2011 Naismith Men's College Player of the Year. He beat out Ohio State's Jarrett Sullinger, Duke's Nolan Smith, and UConn's Kemba Walker. Fredette is the first BYU player to win the award and the third from the Mountain West Conference. BYU Rugby continued its domination of the college Premier Division Friday when they took on the Wyoming Cowboys. Wyoming came into the match 0-2 in the Western Conference, only scoring 15 points and allowing 105. The Cougars scored 19 tries and 11 conversions against the Cougars, and if you're familiar with rugby scoring, you figured out that that's a total of 123 points. BYU moves to 5-0 in the conference, 10-0 overall, with the 123-3 final. In a tournament that was full of surprises, VCU head coach Shaka Smart somehow managed to lead his Rams from the first four to the final four. His next challenge? Get his team past the seemingly unstoppable Butler Bulldogs. Second half, Butler on the inbound and Zach Hahn to Matt Howard for the layup. But later on, VCU's Joey Rodriguez would kick it to Jamie Skeen for the three. Skeen continued his impressive tourney performance, scoring 27. Butler up by 1, and Shelvin Mack. Enough said. Less than a minute left, and Butler would show off their trademark scrappiness. They missed the jumper, but Matt Howard playing the glass close and gets the layup, and VCU's Cinderella season is over. Final score, 70-62 Butler. Meanwhile, Jim Calhoun looks to lead his Huskies, who weren't even ranked in the preseason, to the round of 4 over Kentucky. UConn up by 2, and Shabazz Napier with sloppy ball handling. Wildcats recover with 16 seconds left. Kentucky's DeAndre Liggins looks for the lead, misses. Napier with the rebound and is fouled on the play. Tense moments ahead, he sinks both free throws, and all Wildcat coach John Calipari can do is look. UConn wins by 1. The Huskies and the Bulldogs face off tonight in the championship match. Tip-off set for 7:23 Mountain Time.
So who's your pick for tonight?
I'm going to say Butler. It's going to be a very close game, that I know for sure, but I really think that Butler has proven itself over and over and over again, and they can do it.
All right, thanks, Lakia.
Yeah.
Still to come on 11 News at noon. Fish out of water. These kayakers are taking it to the land, and in the Colorado snow, there ain't no mountain high enough. We'll be right back.
Typically, kayaking is thought of as a water sport, but that is not the case for some adventurers in Colorado. Boater Cross is the new way to use a kayak at Monarch Mountain Ski Resort. For the last 6 years, this resort holds an event called Boater Cross to finish up the ski season. People in kayaks race down the slopes, splishing and splashing to end up crashing into an icy bank. With temperatures a lot warmer than usual, it made for a great icy time.
You know, I'm a Colorado girl, but there's no way I would be caught dead in that water. It has to be freezing.
That was really creative. I don't know. What will they think of next
I
when
just
it
don't
comes to
enjoy
outdoor
looking at that
sports?
snow. That snow looks, it's sad.
Snow in April, no bueno.
Well, welcome to Utah. Well, that's 11 News at noon for Monday, April 4th.
You can join us anytime on our website, 11news.byu.edu.
Thanks for watching and have a great afternoon.